rolling.
Okay.
Keep rolling. There's a 30-hour loop of Limp Bizkit, Keep Rolling.
Good morning, Caleb. Good afternoon, Caleb. Good evening, Caleb.
God damn it.
Welcome back to Nerding Out. My name is Evan.
I'm David.
I'm Nathaniel. It looks like I'm number 3 now.
Are you?
Oh, I've been
I was
demoted.
No. Just going.
You know what? No, here. Let's settle this.
No. Rock, paper, scissors?
Our pseudo rivalry has
You're
gone
gonna
on long
lose
enough.
this. I'm really good at this game.
Best of 3.
All right.
Ready?
Black hole. Dude, you lose.
But yes, welcome back to Nerding Out. We have
We have some shiny new content for you.
yeah,
do.
some brilliant new content. First, just like news in general. We there's that movie that the trailer for Turning Red. Have you seen that?
No. What's
No.
that?
It looks like it's based in Canada, and it's following this like Asian American family,
Okay.
and it's this little girl.
Live action.
No, animated, Pixar.
Oh, I haven't heard of this.
It's either when she gets mad or when she gets like when she grows out of control of her emotions, she turns into a giant red panda.
Oh.
I like that. That's kind of...
And it had the
Brave?
the trailer
Yeah,
the
Brave
trailer
Brother Bear.
has NSYNC
Yeah?
in the trailer.
Really?
If you guys just want to,
I wonder what song it is.
I don't know.
Oh, is it a new song? I thought we were just
No,
clinging to the past.
no, it's not a new song. But I was just saying, like, I don't know if you'll immediately think of it.
Don't search turning period
Oh, yeah,
red
right.
because it wants to direct you to malware. So
Oh, good. Here, I might have pulled it up if all of us are pulling it up.
wait, when is this? Oh, next year, March.
Yeah, in March of 2022.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fast.
Let me see if I can.
That's really fast.
I'm just gonna pull it up for you guys right now. We could just we'll have the audio on the podcast.
Ooh,
Oh, the quadratic formula, my favorite.
I like the art.
Right? Does it
Very
look-
clean.
Kind of Despicable Me-ish, but...
No,
yeah,
don't you.
I know.
It's actually pretty.
Mommy's outside. I got him.
Sorry.
No, this isn't happening.
Oh my god.
What is that?
Settle down, little
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, that's intense. Oh, Brett, literally a red panda.
Yeah. Like the species, not the.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Dude, it's so fluffy. She's so fluffy.
That old guy has seen it all. Okay.
She's probably turning red. I like that she's a ginger too.
It's fitting.
It just matches the hair color of the pen. It's a nice little detail.
So that's the trailer.
I like
Wow,
it.
I hadn't seen that.
Right? Yeah, I know. It's
That's
like
nice.
It looks great. I'm
really like
I'm
it.
super excited about that. And the
I
only thing
think-
that makes me think it's like Canada, Asian American is obviously it's the mom's Asian, and then she has the Canadian shirt.
Could be Czech or something like that.
Yeah, it could be
one of those border countries.
But I think because Canada has a pretty large like Asian community.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think in Ottawa,
Wow.
is which I think that's where it takes place because you see the needle.
Oh.
Or is the needle in Ottawa or is that in somewhere else? Or am I-
Toronto has a needle. Vancouver has a needle.
Like, they all
You're talking
have,
about
like-
like a space needle.
Yeah, they had like a space needle. Or
Seattle
something.
is space needle.
Yeah, I know.
but-
So is that
Oh.
where's I know Seattle has one, but I mean Seattle's close to Canada too. So
Why
whatever.
even send your kids to school? Just have them listen to our podcast and learn geography.
Honestly,
Got you
Why pay
covered.
for an education when you can come and get it for free?
remember when I
What?
told
This
that
is free.
story about the best battle in Greece's history? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Anyway, the one where Caesar was stroking himself too.
Dude went off is what he did. It was like the scene from like Eminem's movie where he just starts spitting lyrics where he's just like, yeah, no, I know I have you f***ing like completely surrounded. I'm gonna build 2 walls and then all of your armies.
Anyway, that comes out March 2022 next year, or like spring 2022. It looks great.
Yeah, March,
I think it's
It looks so charming. Of course,
that looks so charming. I don't need to see more. Also, Luca. Have you seen Luca?
I haven't. I saw what's it called, the
Yo.
Spirit. I look really.
You have Disney
Was it
Plus.
Spirit?
You have
I
Disney
do.
Plus.
Was it?
Watch Luca.
Okay.
Like it's a kids movie, but it's freaking amazing. Pixar again. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's the
They're
same.
going
It's the
off.
same formula.
Soul.
But I cried at the end of it. Like I
Really?
did on all the other ones. It's so annoying because it's the same.
Here's
And
the
it's
formula.
not. It's like literally they're doing nothing different. It's the same formula, but they somehow make more charming ass characters, and I'm just like, God damn it, stop it. Anyway, it's just.
Did you guys watch Soul?
Soul?
Yeah.
No, I didn't watch.
I've been
Soul.
I
meaning
really
to-
like Soul. I really.
That's
like
the one.
Soul.
That's the one that's like music based, right?
Yeah, jazz.
Okay.
Jazz.
Jazz
It's-
music.
It's not like incredible, but it's great.
It looks.
really good.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. So
Yeah, it's like a mix of what
I
was
haven't
it,
gotten a chance to watch it
Inside?
yet, but speaking of animated movies, there is a trailer for a movie that dropped that is a sequel to our friend here David's least favorite movie of all
He's-
time.
All
And
the money that was
our
spent.
our newest installment of
We're gonna have him sing its praises.
our newest installment of David's Trollbridge. David, take it away.
There's sometimes in life I wonder what we really could do with the human condition. Our ability to go to space, solve medical miracles, give people limbs that lost it, give life to people who lost it as well. And then there's this fucking abomination of a movie that didn't exist to help anybody. And instead, what happened? They decided, because this f***ing annoying koala needed to have any sort of other motives, he wants to now have a live stage performance, and he's trying to convince some rock star to join his team. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do to convince me to go to the theater. You're gonna have to like give me an immense amount of money. Like, it's already bad enough that you had like probably blackmailed a cast of already great people like Eric Andre, and you got, tons of good voices in there. So it's like, how much money did you bribe them to do this terrible ass movie? And it's already bad enough you couldn't get somebody else to write it. You got the same head from the first time, and then not only that, he has the gall enough to be a voice in it. So it's like pretentious. Absolutely. It's like, you can't tell me that if somebody who writes a story is just like, oh, this is great, I'm gonna be humble and just write the story and let everybody. No, he doesn't give a shit. He knows he's a shit face. He already knows. He doesn't care. He wants to just rein in this cash cow because, let's face it, Illumination Pictures doesn't know anything else to do other than another Despicable Me and another Minions movie, and like God only knows they're gonna make Sing 12, and this time he's gonna be like recruiting Oscar the Grouch to be his lead singer or some shit. So it's always good to see great money going to great causes. Kind of like the Emoji Movie, except I'd rather watch that because at least I know I'd be dead by the end of it. So, with this, it's more like you're ripping out all of my nervous system, dipping it in lemon juice, and then throwing it into a river. So it's basically the same. You know what's great? Electrolysis. That's probably better than watching this movie. I hate the idea of this cast of people. Let me just give you a list of the people who have to suffer and voice this.
I already know Scarlett Johansson's in it.
There's
She's still in it.
the
I bet you
great voices
$1,000
of
in Daya's in it.
the great voices of Sek
She's in
Nafara.
everything now.
You got Tori Kelly, who is arguably one of the most underrated singers. Honestly, she's better than Ariana Grande, but I didn't say that. You have a great guy from, let's face it, like one of the most memorable bands, U2. I mean, Bono's in it. Why he's in it? Someone probably has kidnapped his wife. So you have Halsey, who, she has nothing better to do. She's going to make the same song over and over again. She might as well make the same over and over again. You have Eric Andre, who he's too busy either getting naked in public or on somebody.
Dude, honestly,
so basically,
they
he's making that in a movie where he's bringing to public. So that works out. Matthew McConaughey, he needs more money because Lincoln's not pulling through right now. So you have, Chelsea Peretti. You got Nick Kroll. You got Reese Witherspoon. You have a lot of people who could be doing anything else. Hallmark movies, Lifetime movies. You could go as far as do a stage play, and I would go to that first. But this wonderful gentleman, Garth Jennings, the creative creative mind behind this great franchise, has decided people haven't had enough. People haven't got enough salt in the wound. They really want to feel what it's like to have tonsils removed with a lawnmower. They really want to know what it's like to get a colonoscopy with a Volkswagen. They really, really have every intention to walk down the street on just a bright summer day with no shoes with minimal water on it. They really, really want to feel what it's like to stick a into a 30-watt outlet. They really want to just feel what it's like to want to die from the beginning to the end. I think you should sell this like a timeshare. Do you want to feel dead for an hour and 45 minutes? Watch Sing 2. Better yet, do you want to have an out-of-body experience? Watch both Sing 1 and Sing 2. Lord knows there's going to sell it like that anyway. I feel bad for movie theaters because you have opportunities to fill the theater with great cinematic masterpieces that will get elected for awards. And instead what you have is a room full of dead people. So you really have a good idea and money. That's the thing. You know how much animators are paid? Some poor bastard is sitting there making 30 seconds of this wide-eyed, coked-out koala convincing a wolf to sing for a band that would otherwise not be allowed in any like a jazz lounge or a speakeasy in Carlsbad wouldn't allow this. It's terrible. But hey, we have money. Why don't we do this? Because we're out of ideas. We're just gonna keep remaking because watch, Emoji Movie 2 is going to come out soon, and then guess what? I'll be talking about that. And, it's not going to stop. I'm still waiting for my hot bag of to make it to Illumination Pictures' front door. I keep getting it back, though, but then I think, actually, no, I'm getting back a DVD of Sing. No, it's around the same thing. So every time I talk about this movie, I feel like I get cotton mouth, but I realize it's because the water in my body is trying to leave because the word Sing 2 sounds terrible. Because it couldn't be smart and name it with T-O-O, no, or T-W-O. They couldn't afford a longer title, so they just used the number 2. Just like the movie, it's a number 2. And I really don't enjoy any fact that I've had to watch the trailer multiple times. Whoever is the marketing agent, God bless you, because you're gonna go straight to hell. Not even like the fun part of hell where it's just like it's a jacuzzi of lava, or you get to see your dad open his chest in the middle of a dead forest and ask you to dance. You're not gonna see any of that. You're gonna be the prolapsed anus of the devil. You're gonna be like you're gonna be so like you are the Jack Slinks of the devil's dick. You are so bad. It's unbelievable how much money you've put behind letting people know what tumors feel like. It's amazing. And instead you drown us in this f***ing waste garbage. I've seen so much media over my lifetime, and I've played games like Titanfall 2 where it's a waste of time. I'd rather play the entirety of Titanfall 2 and get every single achievement 10 times on all platforms before watching this movie. Oh, I'd rather do it with inverted controls with the TV upside down too. Did I mention that? Oh, by the way, this hot weather we're having, it's just the devil prepping you for your existence in, the finest place on earth. It's not like Palm Springs, although there's probably just as much sand, except you'll be drinking it. So it'll make it a little bit easier for you to live your existence in the third level of Dante's Hell. So, but, here's my favorite part, is it doesn't end. You get all this cast together, you pay animators, poor bastards, who have to sit in front of a screen and watch 30 seconds of something for 5 hours. I'd imagine that they'd take razor blades to their pupils. I would. But they don't have to worry about it because they're going to get macular degeneration for seeing something unholy like The Ring. So you end up basically getting all of this money together. And then you're like, God, this is going to be so great, because so many people came out and watched this movie and it's critically acclaimed. And I think a lot of it's because the families of the people who made it felt like they would end up getting probably incarcerated by the people who made them watch this movie anyway. So you end up just giving all this time and effort to a movie nobody really gives a about, and you make us think like Disney doesn't already have the monopoly on this. Like, oh cool, like, you know, we're looking forward to a bunch of cool stuff from Disney, and you know, now they have DreamWorks and things like that. Who knows? I'd rather watch Ice Age 75 instead of watching this movie, which Lord knows that's probably going to come out too, and I'll complain about that. But the gall, you had the gall to like put this, who storyboarded this second movie, because you're basically making like Mr. Bean's Holiday of a movie, which nobody gave a about. It's actually a great movie if you want to go watch. If you want to watch a genuine movie with, you know, a guy who probably deserves more attention than this movie does, go see Mr. Bean's Holiday. It's an old movie, but it's funny. Anyway, so you have a beautiful creative cast of people. You know what you could have done? You could have made basically anything else. You could have had Food Fight 2. You could have had so much other stuff. You could have casted another Toy Story. You could have casted probably a better version of Moana. Much better version of Moana. And you most of the time, I think about a movie and I think about, what's the purpose? There is none. There's none behind this movie. This won't teach me anything. No, wait, actually it will. It'll teach me what gastrointestinal tract problems for 90 years feels like. It'll teach me what swallowing an egg whole feels like. It'll probably also teach me what it's like to see my entire family die replay in my head over and over again while eating a mayonnaise sandwich. So I pretty much think that's the point. Actually, just a giant cup of
Oh my god.
just with a very long straw, and your
I think we've gone far enough. I get the picture. It's population control.
Your lips are sewn to the end of it, and you're forced to breathe in only, so you see it coming. Just a spinning ineptitude of death and torment and awfulness. Did I mention that this cup is probably about the size of like the Pacific Ocean, and you're probably gonna be like at the very, you know, like when you have a shake and like the ice cream on the bottom is melted but the top is there, so you think something's happening, but in reality, you know, God, I'm gonna get a mouthful of whipped cream. That's kind of like that, except it's blood at the end. So you end up in this like wonderful like 7-Eleven Slurpee of just garbage that you're making your people watch and interact with. So anyway, don't watch this movie. Period.
That was
colorful.
that was exactly 10 minutes.
I was gonna say that's probably the longest David's Trollbridge.
It's bad enough they made the first one.
Yes, we know.
They made the first one. Which
Tell us how you really feel.
And didn't I say if they made a sequel, didn't I say something they would make a sequel?
Yeah, you said yeah. In that episode where we talked about our least favorite movies, you mentioned like it's like, and they're probably gonna make a sequel. And
dude, honestly,
ladies and gentlemen,
if we did a review of this movie,
us.
if we actually watched this movie and did a review, I don't think Earth would survive David's wrath. Honestly.
Well, no. Here's the thing: we wouldn't say a word.
No, that's what I'm saying.
David would intro, talk, and then end it, and then it'd be over. Like,
honestly, I think
we would never get a chance to say anything.
I think just that's the end of the human journey. Everything would be wiped out.
It would be It would be the first like podcast where all three of us are in it, but only one of us speaks. That would just be the only.
That was painful. I don't know how much of that we can like put up on without it.
I mean, editing's the thing.
See, what you have is morals. See, you have a guilty conscience about what you put out there. Unlike Garth here, who wants to put this shit out.
To be fair, his name is Garth.
Which is weird because it's like in the trailer, it's like he basically just is like, it's like, I want a show, and then he's like, I'll get this guy whoever we haven't seen in years, and then it's like, cool, if you don't get him, I'm gonna murder you. And it's like, wait, what?
Wait, that's in there?
Yeah.
He's like, it was like, you better, or I'll throw you off the roof. And it's like,
they didn't have any idea how to make this story work, so.
Yeah, I know. It's like
shock and awe is a really easy thing to do.
For one reason or another, they need to recruit more people for a show, and it's like, so we're doing the same thing over again.
Are we gonna get to the Snyder Cut?
I don't know.
Frank Sinatra, Bill Cosby.
What an anecdote.
You have Elton John.
Yeah.
You have Freddie Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of people who are a show by
Themselves. Yeah.
Off. Off with your stupid, let's collect every species of animal we can, Pokemon. All right, this isn't The Greatest Showman. This isn't Zootopia. Don't combine them. All right. Nobody needed that. You want to combine something? Combine Ice Age with Lethal Weapon 2 or Field of Dreams. I want to see a saber-toothed tiger being like, I'm a young Iowa corn farmer with paranoid delusional tendencies and an Oscar-winning wife. And I want the other guy to be like, yeah, we fight illegal street crime on the street smarts of LA or something like that. Let me see that. I want to see that. Do that.
Actually, I did want to see that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
I just came up with that. Better than the plot of this movie. I have no experience in showbiz whatsoever. I've watched movies. I've watched The Blob. I've watched...
Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
You've watched Full Metal Alchemist live action Netflix
seen
movie.
That garbage. I've seen
That movie was so bad I forgot I even watched it.
I've seen Magical Voyage.
Oh, yeah.
I've
Classic.
I've seen trash. All of them are the Secretariat compared to this glue fest of that you're making me have to. No, because I want to just watch YouTube videos. I want to see a guy melt a bunch of quarters into slurry and then pour it into a bar. And what do I have to be greeted by? These like copacetic headed little animals that have no existence other than to be retarded. And then instead, what they choose to do is instead of just creating a plot device that hasn't already been done already, because that'd be too easy. So instead, what you do is you force us to sit through something that we already know how to work out. That's a great idea. You basically have said in a sentence, so
There's no tension.
Goldilocks walks into a house that is owned by bears and eats all the porridge and falls asleep, and the bears find her at the end. That's what you've done in a trailer. If you're gonna mock me, if you're gonna spit in my face, if you're gonna insult me with these trailers and give us the entire plot in a trailer and then say, hey, come pay money to see this. No. No. You know what I'd rather do? I'd rather talk about the Snyder Cut of this movie.
Oh my god.
I was going to say, you pretty much said everything that I hated about Space Jam: A New Legacy. Good.
I'd rather watch that.
I mean, you probably have more fun watching that, to be honest.
Honestly, yeah. Anyway.
Endearing characters.
Oh,
So
my
main,
soul.
main topic time, finally. Okay, so we saw Justice League. In fact, that was
That was our first podcast.
that was our first podcast. We reviewed the theatrical cut of Justice League, and that was before David even joined the show.
That was before the golden era.
That was before David was born. You were just
Yeah.
like a little.
You know, that's around that time.
It was like right before you were hatched from your like pod where
Yeah.
you were genetically grown.
It was before all the hate from the universe manifested into one being.
A
it's
little bit of hate, a lot of fun.
Yeah, God had an angry fart, and then you came out as like a
That's me.
as like an anger nugget.
Absolutely. And you know what?
Uh,
The world's better for it.
Is it?
You know, you have to have the reflection before you see the mirror.
Anyway, so we saw the theatrical cut, all three of us,
Yes.
to some
I don't
capacity.
remember what we scored, but it was not great.
It wasn't good. We did agree that the Flash was the best part of it.
Yes.
But even looking back at that retrospectively, he that was probably too much.
He was just like, he was great, but it didn't really
But it
fit
still
the movie.
wasn't. It still wasn't good.
No.
Now, for like the last like 3 years, hashtag release the Snyder Cut was trending, and Warner Brothers was like, it doesn't exist, we don't have it. They had asked they'd asked Snyder, and he'd be like, I don't know if they want to release it. He basically stirring the pot and putting Warner Brother in a box, basically saying like, it's like, I didn't confirm or deny that it exists, but I didn't say it didn't exist. So the balls in your court, Warner Brothers.
Let me stoke the flames of hype.
And then Warner Brothers admitted, it's like, okay, yeah, we have a director's cut, or we have like footage that we could use and all that stuff. And it was and then everyone was just like, okay, cool, put it together, release it. And they're just like, basically Warner Brothers, this multi-million-dollar company got online bullied and peer pressured into releasing a Snyder cut, a director's cut on HBO Max.
That's not far off. I think what the reality was. Yeah,
They got bullied. They got e-bullied into releasing it, and 4 hours later, we.
Did you watch it, David? Don't watch it. You won't get those 4 hours back.
Yeah.
Which
I was smart enough to know.
I don't know. Did you like it, Evan?
It was better than the theatrical version. It was, which isn't saying much. It didn't have to reach that far to be better story wise, but you know, the things that I hated about the theatrical cut were fixed, and it was better. However, a 4 hour movie,
Dude,
like I can't.
My problem is it's called, dude, you shouldn't have called it the Snyder Cut. You should have called it the Snyder Bloat, because it like goes on forever. I saw an hour and a half and I was already done with the movie, and then there was another hour and a half plus another hour. Like, are you kidding me?
Well, no.
So,
no.
It had its moments.
Well, the thing is, someone actually broke it down. I think like 10 or 13% of the movie is in slow mo.
Yes. So, dude, Zack Snyder's like, you like slow mo? Let me put slow mo in your slow mo.
It's like let me pad this runtime by stretching it out. It's like it
started to give me anxiety when the slow mo like had reached the 10th scene with slow mo in it, and it's just like
it's unnecessary.
The thing is, if you boiled this movie down to 2 hours, I would say it could be a great movie. It's just so stretched out. Like,
I mean, if you cut out the 10% that's in slow motion, it probably cuts it down to like 3.5 hours.
Well, and
honestly,
the things I heard the most about this cut is that, yes, it should have been, like the theatrical cut should have been different compared to what all is left out. But the biggest issue a lot of people had, not a lot of character build.
Okay,
Even in the Snyder cut, there wasn't a ton of character build. And when there was, it was only via Superman, Flash, and Aquaman. And a teeny tinsy bit of Cyborg. But outside of that...
In the theatrical cut?
No, it's Snyder cut.
No, that's completely inaccurate.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Because I heard a lot of people were just I thought I'd get more, but not much.
Well, no, Cyborg probably gets the most, because he had nothing in the theatrical cut. He's just this dude made of metal, and okay, cool.
Right.
But he has way more development. Flash, he has more. It's. I wish they had more to set up the thing at the end. Where he goes
through time.
Where he goes through time. I wish they did a little bit more to set that up, so there was more of a payoff for that. But you know, it's still cool that they did that.
Yeah.
Superman, he has more of a reason for like joining. I don't fully understand why he goes with the black suit. I think it was just more of like
it was just fan service. That's all
it was fan service, and it was like Snyder said that he did it, and it's like, oh well, we want to see it, but there was never a reason. I don't feel like there was ever a reason, you know, unspoken or not, that they came to, or like that he came to make that decision. But it still looked cool. I thought it was cool. But I think Batman was better. Wonder Woman got a little bit more of a reason for why she was, you know, why she had stakes in the fight, because in the theatrical version,
Wonder Woman was definitely a highlight.
Yeah, she was better. Aquaman got more. William Dafoe's in it, so he's fleshed, like all the characters are fleshed out more, which, to be fair, you wouldn't have had to have this 4 hour movie if everyone had their own movies beforehand.
Thank you.
It still brings up the question of like, why are we doing this movie now and then all of their solo movies afterwards?
Yeah.
That makes no freaking sense.
They still have only released like what, 2 solo movies? Like, what do they have? Do they have Wonder Woman and they have Aquaman?
They had
Batman v Superman.
Well, they had Batman.
No, that's not a solo movie though.
No.
What solo movies do they have? Wonder Woman, Aquaman.
No, but the thing is though, Wonder Woman came out after Batman v Superman, before Justice League, but Aquaman But
think about it. 3 years later,
Aquaman came out after the theatrical Justice League.
But 3 years later, and we still don't have all these solo films that are still in development
because they don't know.
So
they don't know what to do.
I think I really like Snyder's directing style, like the aesthetic. The aesthetic is gorgeous.
Yes,
like he's really great at setting up shots.
He is. Yeah, I agree.
His characters, I think, suck because they're all the same character.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like this big, like, I don't know. It's like getting a bunch of chewed gum and putting it together. It's like more of the same. It's just like all these, except for Flash, like he kind of stands out. They have like little hints of personality, but it's just
they have
like
little hints of personality that they had to flesh out in this 4-hour drag fest so that they could try to flesh out these characters rather than giving them their own movies beforehand and then carrying over those personalities, who they were at the end of those movies, into the Justice League, which is why Avengers and all that stuff worked so well, because you had all these characters that were established, and then you throw them into a movie together where all these characters come together and you know everyone and they all mesh together or they don't mesh together, and that's the whole conflict. So that was the problem.
I think the thing about like the character development, like yes, Cyborg had more character development and he had like longer runtime, but I feel like you ended up with the same forgettable character. Who is Cyborg? I mean, I guess he's like, you know, like there was a little bit more of the connection to the father, but it just, even at the end of it, it just didn't make any sense to me why his father's like, I'm gonna make this like thing that can just interact with everything because I can. I don't know. It's just
it doesn't work well in a situation because it's kind of like,
well, it's like when it came down to it, who are these characters? I feel like they just service the plot. That's all. The only reason they're there.
Yeah, and then they're banking off of the idea of like, oh yeah, there's been a billion Batman, Superman, Flash, you know, things out there. We'll just bank on the idea that they already know who they are. I miss the idea of people going into movies blind, even if it's a tandemed to another movie, like Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. You wouldn't have to watch any of them to know what's been like, to know anything that happens in the movie. You don't have to watch the rest of them, you know. You don't have to, and that's in an era where the movie is the highlight, not the concept of things in prior or the being in on the ideas that are already present from previous movies. And people like Hollywood's done with that, and when they aren't, they make standalone movies that try to rush the plot too fast. And my problem with that is with this movie, and especially with what I've heard about the Snyder Cut, is everything was right, it wasn't put together, and it kind of, it's like to me it comes across as like a high school project, right? And it's a group project and you all have your own notes about the same premise, right? So you're writing about volcanoes. Somebody has Kilimanjaro, another guy has Yellowstone's eruption, and another guy has Vesuvius. But you put them all together and it doesn't give you a premise, it just gives you an amalgamation of a bunch of that's happening. It doesn't give you the idea, the overall tone is lost because of that. And you can't even unify it within the actual conflict that's in the movie because you're just
the thing is, like,
them.
They did do a lot of good. I think the problem is that, again, it's the runtime. It's just like, you get a good concept. Like, you get the story with Cyborg and his dad, and it's like, it's the same problem with Suicide Squad. It's just too many characters that you're trying to flesh out, and it just ends up, you lose interest. Yeah. Like,
you're banking off.
You should have just made a Cyborg movie, because like you'll have like a movie within a movie within a movie.
But
and it kind of fits into the main plot, but it's so forced.
But we know why this happened. It's because where it fell in the events of things.
And one thing that really did improve, Steppenwolf. Like he's actually interesting. Mm-hmm. Like he was just like, you know, a generic enemy in the other movie. He actually has motivation for what he's doing in the Snyder Cut. But like, I had to watch this movie in two pieces, because I was just like, you know, I love the aesthetic, but I don't care about what's happening at all. I just don't care. It's like you managed to take Superman and Batman, some of the most iconic superheroes, and make them like the most disinteresting, boring, forgettable like characters. They're
Okay, follow my train of thought here.
Yeah, and this is, you know, it's just my opinion.
For a moment.
This movie is definitely not for me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, so this movie, it's like the same, just longer.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, Warner Brothers can't get their together. But yet they still make a lot of stuff. and make money, which means that they're going to make more stuff, like Space Jam: New Legacy. And then I was thinking, the Justice League is in Space Jam: New Legacy for a brief moment. They make a cameo. They're not like they don't play a significant role, but they're in there. And then I'm like,
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Let him say what he thinks he's saying.
no, this is just my train of thought. Like I'm thinking of these things, and then I started thinking about Space Jam: New Legacy again, and I'm starting to think, I'm like, LeBron James is a cartoon. That's ridiculous. And then I think, Bugs Bunny turns into Big Chungus for a half second in the movie, and that's where I am now, and that's kind of a way to sum it up. It's like WB was e-bullied into releasing this, then we got it, and now it's a meme again, and it's like.
You think they're using their
But the thing is,
form of media as memes? Do you think they're putting out garbage because they know it's fast culture for that?
that's an interesting take.
I mean, yes and no, because the thing is, they want to make money. They want to make money the way Marvel made money. Marvel made money like crazy. Like they just money. Like they didn't have to try.
Yeah.
Like Thor 2 made a bunch of money, and it was like the worst. It was the worst Marvel movie in their whole like 4 phases.
Yeah.
But they made money because they established a character.
Dude, even Suicide Squad made money.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad made money, but it's
For what it was, it made a lot of money.
for different reasons. But and I think the new one will make just as much money. Mostly,
That one might be good though.
That one might be better because James Gunn
Gunn.
Gunn directed it, and Sylvester Stallone is a giant man shark, which is freaking hilarious.
Right.
Anyway, that's beside the point. I feel like, and this might just be a take on the film industry in general, but I feel like that now they're making movies with the intent, whether it's intentional or not, with the hope, I guess, that something in their movie will be turned into a meme and then it will never be forgotten. Because that's kind of what everything is now. Because you have Invincible, Think Mark. Like, that's going to be immortalized as a meme forever. And even if it dies, 10 years from now, someone's going to bring it back, because that's what always happens with memes. Memes always come back, and they make a resurgence. Wakanda Knuckles always seems to come back at the beginning of every year for a half second, and it never fails. Big Chungus, he's going to be back because of friggin' Space Jam.
Yep.
But the thing is, Warner Brothers, I think they care more. They care more.
They want you to think about it more.
They want you to think about it more, and occupying someone's brain.
You think the headspace is more important than the emotional?
I think so.
They want the timeshare in your brain of like a God, that was stupid, or God, that's funny.
Yes,
and
because the more you're thinking about,
the
more you're thinking about this, the less you're thinking about the other guy.
Yeah.
And because
you have to break through the silence because everyone's trying to get your attention.
Because look at what we're doing right now.
We're talking about.
We're talking about it right now, and this came out from the beginning of this year.
Yeah. This
came out back in like February, March. So the whole idea, it's like, oh, we're making movies, you know. It's I don't think they're making it with. Yeah, they have the source material, and that's where they're going to get the ideas for their movies, but then you have people who ask questions like, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do it this way? Or like, why is it this way? You can't tell me that these people in these focus groups, when they were like where they were pitching this stuff and like writing the film and everything, you can't tell me those geniuses who have degrees, who have been doing this for years, didn't ask those same questions.
Right.
And all this is telling me is that they just went, man, whatever.
Yeah.
That's all it's telling me, because there's so many things that could have been written either better or just done better, and when it comes to any level of this, and they just decided, nah, whatever. We'll do it this way, and people are still going to consume it, because in the end of the day, as long as you're paying for HBO Max, it's free.
Exactly.
You don't got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the problem I have because right now Space Jam is made like $32 million more than Black Widow,
Has it?
in its first opening weekend. But it's on HBO Max, and you don't. If you're paying for HBO Max already, then you can just stream it. But with Disney Plus, you have to pay for the premium access.
Even then.
Yeah, you have to pay for premium access. You have to pay $30 to watch it on Disney Plus.
Which I hate that.
Which
practice.
less people are doing that. More people are just going to the movies.
Yeah.
To watch Black Widow, or just not watching it at all.
I think that's
whereas with HBO Max, you get ads beforehand and after. So, but they're short, but they're ads for HBO Max. So, but
I mean,
but the thing is though, so if
Space Jam just has a bunch of ads in it that are part of the film.
it's one giant ad. It's one giant meme. But so, would you rather pay $30 to watch a movie at home? Or go to the movies.
Just like go to the theater.
Or would you just stream something on your phone that you're kind of half-heartedly not into anyway, and just kind of have it on in the background, and then go to the movies to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like when people are saying, "Oh, it made more money" or whatever. Yeah, because the streaming service, HBO Max made more money by people streaming it. Like the more streams they got, the more money they made.
Yeah.
Whereas less people paid the $30 to watch it at home, and also didn't go to the movies to watch it. So
yeah,
you're right, and
that's an interesting take.
I think it's an interesting concept to think about.
I don't know if any of that.
No,
made
yeah,
sense.
that made perfect sense. Because if you think about
very
it,
eloquent, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a very a perspective I didn't think about because when we reviewed the theatrical cut of Justice League, what else was coming out? Marvel's still probably biggest, Infinity War being one of their biggest movies at the time.
I think that was a year or two after, right?
Yeah.
No.
It was a few months after.
Infinity War came out February the following year. And then Justice League came out, I think, September or October, around, because that's when we started recording, and that was our first episode was Justice League. So it had came out
beforehand,
at the end of that year, and then the next year was Infinity War.
So what I get from that is, and with this theatrical cut too coming out earlier, is it's not that they're trying to keep pace with Marvel, they're trying to steal a little bit of that headspace, like Evan's saying. Because if you think about it, Infinity War, you can talk about, everybody knows Tony Stark, I'm not feeling so good, Mr. Stark.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that meme. But, it feels like it's not competing anymore. It's just trying to take a different capital away from people wanting to watch it. Because everybody's either Marvel or DC. But and I think we're coming to a point where it's you can be both if you want to. You don't really have to choose a side. And I think we've come to a point where we passed that. And I think that's also why they haven't really made an aggressive move to put out Flash, Cyborg movies just yet, because they think,
And I feel like it's usually the DC, Joker. You have an outlier that's not tied into it, and usually those are the good films.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's because there's nothing to compare it with, and there's nothing to compete with it, and that makes sense. And that's with all of the Marvel movies. You didn't compare it, and you didn't seek to, draw parallels because it's different. You don't compare Thor to Iron Man. You don't compare Captain America to what is right now Black Widow, or even the Hulk, which technically is, already convoluted as it is, because, that sort of is and isn't in the timeline, however you want to look at that. But for me, it's you have two differing ideals of how to build a story. One seems structured and thought out, and the other one just seems kind of random and more or less made to just fit the demand.
Yeah, it's they kind of try to copy Marvel at first, but now they're kind of distancing themselves, but kind of still. But it's confusing. But to I think wrap us up, on Rotten Tomatoes, Snyder Cut has 94% positive from audiences, and 71% positive from people love this movie overwhelmingly.
Well, the thing is though,
but the thing is, the people who it was made for, they love this film.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like you also have to consider, do they love it? Is it 94% compared to the theatrical cut, or is it 94% on its own? That's the thing you have to consider.
Yeah.
Because of the people watching it going, wow, this is so great and so much better than what we originally got. Or are they just looking at it singularity, like, and it's, subjectively saying this film is great.
Yeah.
So that's
they're looking at the previous one.
Right, exactly.
It's like it's like
if you
so much better in many ways.
Perfect, thing. If you look at a fully ripe tomato versus a rotten tomato, or if you look at a fully ripe tomato, but it's kind of like, it still kind of looks like it's about to turn over, versus a completely rotten tomato, which one looks better?
Yeah.
With the one, yeah.
Exactly.
Lesser of two evils.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
this movie has a lot going for it, but then at the same time, it has a lot of things that ultimately at the end, it's like, you could have just left this out of the movie.
Yeah.
And what I think they should have just done is they shouldn't have done a Snyder cut where they include everything that he shot and put it into the movie. I think what they should have done is they should have just replaced all of the things that Joss Whedon came in and reshot and put in, and replace it with the stuff that Snyder wanted in those scenes.
And that's what I thought.
And then leave it at the 2:30 mark.
Yeah.
It would have been a stronger, more.
It probably would have been
concise,
a stronger, concise movie. Instead, you had something that should have just been a 6-part series.
Yep.
Yeah.
Instead of a 4-hour-long, like.
Because that's the problem. Because you take this really cool scene, and it's really good, but then you extend it so far that it kind of gets boring. Because there's a lot of good stuff in there that, again, it just gets stretched out, and you kind of get tired of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, one last thing, like the aspect ratio, I don't understand like why they chose that aspect ratio. It's like, oh, Snyder's vision. It's like, it just doesn't work. It adds nothing to the film. It just cuts out part of what you're seeing. And
I heard from an interview. It was like, it was supposed to be more akin to like a comic book.
I mean, then it would be like the ratio would be like vertical.
Longer, but yeah, I agree. I think it's just like. It was like a comic book, and then it was also supposed to be made to be like on IMAX.
Okay.
So, which IMAX is not as wide; it's more like this. So,
I guess.
Yeah. So,
I wasn't sold on the aspect ratio. Like they pushed it a little too hard for what it was.
That didn't bother me as much, honestly. The aspect ratio didn't bother me as much. I think the length, and at times it was kind of pretentious, with kind of like, oh, we're the super artsy fartsy superhero, but at the same time, it's like you're also taking up 4 hours of my time to tell pretty much the same story, but with some added bits, and it's like. And Jared Leto's Joker didn't need to be in there.
No.
I didn't need to see Jared Leto Joker again.
It was just a marketing thing, because like his whole line of, we live in a society that it wasn't even in the film.
That wasn't even in the movie.
And it's funny because like the last part of the movie, the like post-apocalyptic type, that would have made a more interesting film.
Yes.
I thought that was super interesting, and it's like,
but the
we're
thing,
not gonna get that though.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, this movie was meant to be a setup for that, which now we're probably not going to get.
Yeah.
Because,
so it's
but now we have this
just
whole
a big old
like
tease for
now
something.
now we have the hashtag restore the Snyderverse, and I don't know if I want that. I mean,
I think
I don't know.
It has potential to give someone else a chance. Like, give someone else.
Well, the thing is, though, I don't mind if they want to give Snyder another crack at a Justice League movie, and if they do that story, that's fine. But when it comes to other people making their own DC properties and then all that stuff, like, yeah, just give that to somebody else. Like, it doesn't have to be directly. And the thing is, with the new 52 and the way they're doing all this, the DC stuff, DC continuities never have to be the same. No. With the Robert Pattinson Batman, that's confirmed to be a different universe anyway. Yeah. So none of this matters, which kind of messes me up, because it's like if none of this matters, why does the Snyder Cut matter?
Yeah.
Because it has no bearing on anything. No. Because you guys can just make another Justice League later that's in a different continuity, and it has nothing to do. So everything, all that time that we spent, is worth nothing. Yeah. Whereas Marvel, it all matters.
Yeah. Even the TV shows, because it's like with DC, it's like, here's this huge tease for what's to not come.
Right.
You
Yeah.
got-
And the Arrowverse.
It's like you should have just made
It's its
like
own
more.
separate thing.
You should have just made
And,
like
yeah.
more individual experiences, like Joker, which is getting a sequel and it should not get a sequel. Just make standalone films that are really good.
and stop.
It just works better for you.
I would say almost. I only say almost because there's an exception. There's an exception for movies that have like 1, 2, and 3 parts that are really great. But for the exception of those, like most sequels are just cash grabs. But I say almost with my exception being two animated series, Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon. Those 3, like those 6 movies, like best animated trilogies of all time. Like fight me in the comments. I dare you.
Should we reprise our debates?
What debates?
Our debates. Evan has to defend how Kung Fu Panda's
Nah,
the best.
I mean it is pretty great. I think I could agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Toy Story, the 4th one.
Yeah.
But Toy Story is like, as a trilogy, is pretty solid.
As 1, 2, on 1, 2, and 3, it's good. The fact that they made the 4th, that was a cash grab.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it ended. If they made a Kung Fu Panda 4, or if they made a How to Train Your Dragon 4,
It would kind of. I feel
the
like
way the way that the 3 of them ended, then I'm like, then I have a problem. But
yeah. But as they are,
I don't think they have any plans to do that because the movies were great.
Yeah.
And then they went to their animated series, which I think the How to Train Your Dragon animated series was better than the Kung Fu Panda, mostly because the production value was better on the Train Your Dragon one.
Mm-hmm.
But the Kung Fu Panda one looks like someone from McDonald's made them. But that's aside the point. But thank you so much for listening. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify,
Podcasties.
Podcasties.
Podbean.
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing.
Podbean.
I hate that you repeated that. I'm so sorry. I said that.
iTunes. Email us at
Nerdin' Out podcast @gmail.com.
there we go.
Flavor blasted in the
Email
subject
us
line.
at yes.
Dude,
with the
if
subject
Caleb
line.
hasn't emailed us by the time this comes out,
by the time this one comes out,
this one, because
anyway.
this is the 3rd
This is
of our comeback series.
which
Oh,
now
it's a trilogy.
My God.
the perfect trilogy.
Yeah.
The perfect trilogy doesn't exist.
Wow.
We got something for you.
Holding us to very lofty goals. But yes, email us with what you would like to hear us talk about next.
Pretty please.
If you have a comic book series or a TV show or anything that you would want us to potentially watch and talk about, or if you just want to hear us talk in general, we will just talk directly to the mics for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, baby.
About anything.
We're back, baby.
We're back,
Absolutely.
back, streets, back. Copy strike.
Imagine. We are on iTunes.
We are.
Careful.
But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for joining us again after all this time. I feel like anything that we get from these is undeserved because we've been gone for so long. But
Right?
I mean, I
It's
got what I
sympathy at this
needed
point.
from these podcasts, so it's a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah, just
all it needs to be.
recording them's fun. Just recording
Absolutely.
them's fun. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Down with Illumination Pictures.
No.
Oh God.